Hey friends, it's Laura. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you are all doing really well. I think spring is on its way. There is some extra sunshine coming in today, so I'm in a great mood. What I'm gonna be doing today is planting a terrarium. I have these two candy jar terrariums that were kind of experiments. This one, I kind of wanted to see what plants do well in a terrarium setting, and this was a Begonia, it is a Begonia Maculata that I propagated in here and is doing really well, but is outgrowing the jar. So I'm going to be unplanting these plants, which I'm a little bit nervous about, but we'll make it work, and then replanting most of them into this really cool 60s space age terrarium. I'm really excited about this thing. So yeah, if you're into terrariums, or maybe you just want to see how it's done, maybe you want to build a terrarium along with me, please stay tuned. Also, please make sure you are subscribed. That way, next time I make a video, you will get a notification and we can keep hanging out. So without further ado, let's get planting. So first thing in a successful terrarium is making sure you have a really well draining potting mix, and people use all kinds of different things. People use pebbles and decorative stones, all kinds of things like that. I'm going to show you what I use. You can definitely play with the mixture, but just make sure that whatever you're using is really well draining. Here I have, this is just a regular potting mix. I just get whatever's on sale. There's a little bit of perlite in here because this was a soil container before, so there's whatever was left over, but this is basically just regular old potting mix. I have a bunch of leca balls in here because I'm trying to use them up. I don't really like them for a growing medium on their own, but I do like mixing them into the soil, just add some extra aeration. And then this is of course perlite. There is also some activated charcoal in here, like a teaspoon of it, a very tiny amount. It's kind of controversial whether activated charcoal actually does anything, but I have it because I used to make charcoal soap and things like that. So I have it on hand anyway, so I always throw some into my potting mix because why not? At the very least, it's adding some extra aeration. I also have a little bit of my liquid seaweed fertilizer that I always use. I always throw a little bit of that into my potting mix, and I'll just mix it up. As I kind of started explaining in the intro, these two terrariums are just in candy jars. These were experiments. I wanted to see what plants would do really well in a terrarium setting, and I basically just took cuttings of plants I already had and planted them into this soil mix. I opened the lid about once a month for a day or so just to let it get some fresh air and air out. Other than that, I did absolutely no care. I didn't water it after it was planted. It just used the moisture that the plants were transpiring, and they did really well. Everything I planted in here did amazing. I have some Peperomia in there, Tradescantia, a Begonia, Palea, and they all did well, but I don't like the look of all of them. I will show up close, but I'll do another up close. But some of the Peperomia, like they all did well, but some of them just got really leggy and I don't love how they look. I mean, they all are thriving, but I love the Photonia, and I find that like that's the only way I can grow Photonia is in a jar because it just doesn't do well for me. And I love the little Begonia Maculata. There's a little baby one in there. So I'm not going to be transferring all of these plants into the new terrarium, but the ones that I like the look of are definitely going in there. So there's a little Begonia Maculata in there, and maybe I'll just go from the top. So there's obviously a huge Peperomia Frost, a little Photonia, pink Photonia in there. There's a little silver Palea over here. And then along here, there's like some Pink Lady Tradescantia, and then another type of Peperomia that I don't really like how it looks in there. It's sort of taking over and looking very leggy, so I'm gonna get rid of that. What else is in? Oh yeah, there's some string of turtles. Where are they? There they are. a string of turtles that are kind of taking over. Sorry, the glasses needs to be cleaned. Anyway, so there's a lot of plants in there. I'm gonna see what'll work. This other jar basically was a stem of a Begonia Maculata. My Begonia Maculata was dying, so I took a stem, I put it in this jar just to kind of see what would happen with extra humidity, and as you can see, it did really well. So that was a really good way to propagate begonia if you ever want to try that. But it's definitely outgrowing this jar, and so it needs a bigger home so that it can grow big and beautiful. All right, so the first step, I'm gonna just take this off. And this terrarium is really cool because this whole top comes right off. So it's really easy to plant. This terrarium is from Poti 5. If you want to get your own, obviously I'll link them below. So I'm going to put a nice layer of soil down there. Don't want to put too much, but you also want something for the roots to grab onto. Because this is a bigger, well, it's a bigger terrarium for me. For some people, this isn't that big. I want to make sure I have room for all my plants. And you don't need to worry if you get soil, you know, on the sides because you're going to spray it all down after. And I have this really cute quartz that I actually found in a lake. Well, I found in a huge lake near where I live. And I feel like, I've had it just around the house, but I feel like it would really go well in here. Obviously this is just however I feel like putting it, I'm gonna put it. It's kind of centered. To figure out if I like the look of that. I think I do. People put all kinds of things in their terrariums. People put little figurines, little furniture. I feel like terrariums can be very whimsical. But I think I like the look of that. Okay, the next step is the unplanting of these guys. I think I'm gonna zoom you in so you can see really well what I'm gonna do there. All right, so I've got the plant mat here because I know that this is gonna get pretty messy. I mean, I think I'll be able to maybe just dig these guys out, but I don't know. Okay, let me shift over. I'm hoping to just sort of get in there, get what I can. Oh, and I have this pretty crystal in there. I was thinking I would use this little tool, but I don't know if that's gonna work. Okay, I wanna also keep it in frame if possible. You know what, I'm gonna go in and get that Peperomia Frost because I feel like that's gonna be the biggest root system. Okay, not bad, not bad. She came out pretty happy. I found that she got even frostier once she was in the terrarium, if that makes sense. Like less dark, more light. I don't know. Anyway, I won't shake the roots off too much because she's happy. Okay, get that Phytonia out. And this guy was a lot bigger, but I actually snipped him for another terrarium I'm making, or that I made a little while ago in a pickle jar. So I just kind of pulled the top off him because, I don't know. All right, a Begonia Maculata, I think. Yeah, she's so tiny and cute, but pretty healthy. I'll probably plant her beside the other larger one that I have in the other jar. Okay, and what else is in here? Like, I don't even know that I want to save all of these because, oh, there's another pretty rock, so I'll keep that. The Pellionia, I don't even love the look of it that much. The string of turtles are cute. That would be pretty easy just to add in to the other one, so I'll keep that. Yeah, I don't know guys, like you can see there's some interesting leaves in there, but they just get so leggy and it's not like these are huge plants. That Terrarium Pink Lady is so tiny. Like I said, these are cuttings of my plants that I just threw in. So whatever, we'll save her, she's cute. I think that's all I'm gonna save. There's another pretty little rock though. This pretty little clear rock. I don't even remember all these things I threw in here. I think what it was is my kids had brought me some rocks and I was like, okay, I'll put them in there. I'm gonna get this one out. Should be, oh, I didn't feel any roots rip. This one's got some healthy roots. As I said, that was just a stem. So it's doing really well. Put it beside this guy. And this soil actually is really rich and I might just mix it into my other soil. The funnest part about building a terrarium obviously is just placing things as you want. You get to design the landscape. And like I said, I think people get really creative with terrariums, which is really cool. I'm gonna put the pretty rocks in at the end. I'm gonna start with the biggest plant, which at the moment is this Peperomia Frost. I'm gonna put it right beside that big quartz so that it's kind of like leaning on it. And the quartz kind of peeking out. I think that's cute. Obviously the Begonia Maculatas are gonna get really tall. So let's see. Shake off a little bit of that dirt, just so I can see what I'm working with. Yeah, this one has really good roots actually. Maybe like that. Again, sort of like leaning on that rock. Oh, don't fall over. Use the leca for structure. And obviously the plants are gonna grow in and like fill up the space. You have to kind of plan ahead of, you know, is that plant gonna get really tall? So I have that other little tiny maculata. I don't know. And these are cuttings from the same plant, so they will be, they should be like identical when they grow up. I wonder if I should put one in the back so that it like grows upwards as a background plant. I'm gonna put it right there. When I'm planting, I'm just kind of lightly putting the roots on top of the soil. I'm gonna put a little bit of soil on top, but not a ton. The roots grow like crazy in a terrarium. They just take root and grow, so you don't need to worry about like actually digging a little hole and getting it in there. It should be fine no matter what. Okay, the Fittonia, as I said, grows really fast, but I took a huge cutting off it. Take that leaf off. It's not very pretty. I think the Fittonia will go in more near the back. It's pretty straggly at the moment, but I know it'll fill in really quick. Okay. String of turtles, you gotta go in the front because you're so tiny. And then this little tiny Alocasia Pink Lady will obviously be in the front as well. Hopefully she'll just like take over. And, oh, I totally forgot. I'll be back. There's another plant I want to include. When I shared this plant on Instagram, this is my Pellionia Pulkra, a lot of people, well, a couple people said that they enjoy growing this in a terrarium because it loves humidity and it just kind of grows really fast. So I was thinking this would be really pretty to sort of fill in the front here. Yeah, the turtle, okay, Alocasia. Now that I have this Pellionia, I gotta readjust. And the turtles as well. I mean, string turtles I feel like is really a better trailing plant, but it just looks so cute in terrariums. I can't resist, so. But I took a couple cuttings of my Pellionia, hoping that it will grow as fast as people said and just really fill in the front here. It's such an interesting leaf that, and I took this like naked stem, just maybe it will grow in. Maybe I'll put that in the back, see what happens. Crazy. Okay, so the plants are small right now, obviously. They're really tiny, but I know that they're gonna grow really quickly. I don't want this begonia to fall down though. So it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't look amazing at the moment, but I know that they're gonna grow in really quick. Now to put my little rocks in. So this is like a little, what is this called? A geode? No, I don't know much about crystals. I just think they're pretty. I'm not like a super crystal magic person, but I like the look of them, especially with plants. I know some people say like certain crystals help certain plants grow. I don't know if that's true, but they do look beautiful with plants, I think. Oh, that looks so pretty. What is this called? Pyrite, I think? I should know. Anyway, my kids gave it to me, so into the terrarium it will go. Add some sparkle. As I'm going, I'm like removing any ugly leaves because once things are in the terrarium, you don't really want to touch them very much because the soil kind of gets on the glass the more you play with it. So I'm trying to do a really good job. And like I said, I'm going to spray everything down. Okay, I have this thing. I think this is a pebble from my driveway, but it is pretty. Thank you to my children for that. Oh, dogs are going crazy. Put that back there. Oh, that'll kind of support that begonia back there. And I have, I think, another pebble from my driveway. If these are precious stones, please let me know. Like I said, I don't know much about these things. Where will that go? I don't know if I need this one. Maybe right there. And then this one's cute. Just like a little clear thing. That should go up front, I think. There. Okay. So that I think looks really amazing. And I almost forgot this as well. This is a Alocasia Black Velvet corm that oh, my hand's dirty. I found this when repotting my black velvet. I found 3 corms. 2 of them I planted back in the soil with the original plant. And this guy I was saving for this very project and I almost forgot. So I think it will sprout fairly quickly because it'll be so humid in there and it will look so beautiful. Also, black velvets take a while to get really big, so I think it will be happy in here for a while. I'm gonna grow that right behind this quartz. Is this even a quartz? I keep saying it's a quartz, I don't actually know. So that way when it grows, it will be like a nice backdrop. Can't believe I almost forgot. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna spray. You wanna, like, if you have an adjustable spray bottle, you wanna make sure it's like in jet setting because you're gonna spray down the soil that it will inevitably be along the sides of your terrarium. Obviously when I was planting in those candy jars, it was way harder to plant than this. This is mostly open, so I didn't make a huge mess. But those pickle jars, they were so dirty, but this jet setting on your spray bottle should work. So you wanna spray it all down so it's nice and neat, nice and clean. And I do find I have to do this, you know, once every couple months because the humidity will sort of puff all over the terrarium and that will bring with it bits of soil and dust. So then it does get dirty, you just spray it down. And then if any of the leaves have dirt on them, now is the time to clean them. Because once it's all set up, you just don't want to touch it find terrariums are so much more beautiful if they're just like growing without, without anyone's help. I was gonna put a little bit of soil on top of the roots, but actually I did a pretty good job of planting everything, so I think I'm good. And then if you have an adjustable spray bottle, you can get it to mist a little bit more, and then you wanna mist everything because like I said, you're not gonna be watering this very often. So mist all over. Make sure the soil is moist, but not soaking wet. And that's kind of the secret to keeping your terrarium fresh, is you don't want the soil ever to be really wet, at least in my experience. When it's wet, things rot. When it's moist and just self-watering, things are happy. There we go. Okay, so last step is to set this whole terrarium up. So first, this goes on top. Oh my goodness. And then put the lid on. And again, I love this thing because it has this like vented lid. So depending on whether you want a ton of humidity or not, you can open the vent or have it closed. I'm gonna put it on like half open, half closed, because these plants are used to a terrarium environment already. But if you're putting plants straight in there from outside a terrarium, maybe you'd want to leave it open just so they can adjust. And there we go. I'm super happy with how this turned out. I feel like definitely this terrarium could be more full, but I want all of these plants to grow outwards. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's kind of like the beginning stages of a terrarium, and it will grow out and look amazing. And I'm also especially excited for this because I know that all the plants that I put in it will do well in a terrarium due to my experimentation and of course recommendations from people about the Pellionia, for example. I love all the little rocks. I'm really into this. So anyways, like I said, if you want to get one of these, the link is below. You can make a terrarium out of anything. Fish tanks are really popular, candy jars, pickle jars, whatever you like. Thrift stores are a really good place to look for big glass jars as well. That's where I got those candy jars that I was using. And now that they're empty, I'm gonna have to think of other things that will go in there. I do kind of want to expand my Begonia collection, and I've learned that they're just so much happier in a terrarium, at least in my home environment. They just thrive as soon as I put them in a jar, and as soon as I take them out of a jar, they die. So I'm gonna keep growing begonias in jars, but as I said, peperomias do really well, phoetonias and tradescantia all do well. It just depends what you like. Here is the finished result. I really like it. It's gonna sit here by the window where I think it will do really well. That begonia better perk up. I think it will. And I'm so excited to see if this Pellionia really does take over. It's gonna be so pretty. The little turtles look so cute. And of course, if that alocasia does sprout, I will for sure do an update. The phoetonia is kind of like sickly back there, but that's okay, it'll be fine. I really, really like the look of this. I feel like it's gonna look so cute. Yeah, anyways, what do you guys think? I'm not a pro in any sense of the word, but it is really relaxing to put something like this together. It's kind of creative and turns into something really cute. So anyway, let me know if you are into terrariums. Let me know if you are going to grow a terrarium or if you're already growing multiple terrariums. I love to hear about your ideas because it inspires me. And again, please make sure you're subscribed so that next time I make a video, you can hang out. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Happy soon to be spring, and we'll see you soon. Bye.